if you thinking about doing something, if you're gonna do it 100%. Like, who cares what anybody else thinks? Be outrageous with it. Make sure your statement is heard. Make sure whatever you do, you're doing it to the best of your abilities. With the God, there's nothing I can't do. Like, there's no obstacle, no mountain I can't climb. There's nothing I can't do without him. Yeah, things might look bad right now, but you can't control it. So all is well. Like, do your part and things will take care of itself.
Welcome back to the DJ Henderson podcast. I'm your host, DJ Henderson, and this is season 6. Man, it's been a journey. We've been at it for a little over a year, about a year and a half now. And I just really appreciate everybody that's been supporting the show. Even if this is your first time tuning in, I really appreciate the support. Season 6 is going to be a big season. A lot of high-level guests, but I just want to take the time to say thank you for tuning in and supporting the show. If you're not already, please make sure you subscribe to the channel, turn on post notifications so you never miss a show, drop a like and a comment down below. All those things will be greatly appreciated. They'll help me out, help the channel out, and continue to support the show in those ways. I really appreciate it, and we're going to get right to this episode. Let's get it. Lavel Dumont, welcome to the show.
What up? I'm glad you could have me.
Nothing much. I appreciate you coming on here. We've been trying to get this done for probably like 3 weeks now, so I'm glad this happened and we're getting this done, ready to get this out to everybody, for everybody to see for sure.
You're a busy man. I'm a busy man. Getting things done.
Definitely. Lavel, you back home right now in Tampa, Florida, off-season grind. How the off-season been treating you, and how does it feel to be back home?
Off-season's been good. I cut some weight down that I didn't really need. I'm glad to be back home, just spending time with family. It's been a while. I haven't been back home since January. Just glad to see my little sister. You know, she's in high school now, so it's great to see that, you know, my way of playing sports and everything is paying off on her and everything. Got to see my mom. She's a teacher, teaches at 5A High School. My dad teaches and coaches at Brooks Debartolo, coaches basketball, so man, trying to get involved there.
Definitely. I kind of feel that too. I got 2 younger brothers, and just being away from home a lot and then coming back, seeing them grow and seeing them, their voice sound different and getting into all different kind of stuff, just living their own life. I find that pretty cool. My youngest brother wearing a size 13 shoe right now. I don't know where that came from. So yeah, I definitely feel that being back around the fam, that's the most important thing for sure. Like we mentioned, you from Tampa, Florida. Talk to me about coming up in Tampa and what the city means to you.
Growing up in Tampa it means a lot to me, because I wasn't I was raised in New Tampa, but I definitely say I spent most of my time like in the actual city of Tampa, because just growing up, like sports and things like that, I realized my better opportunities were actually in the city, like playing against the best competition and things of that nature. Not saying New Tampa ain't got no top competition or anything like that, but I would say the best opportunities and getting myself better and putting myself at that level and competing every day, day in and day out, would be definitely coming from the heart of the city. And I'm just glad and grateful to be from the crib, for real. You know, I was born in Miami, but I was raised in Tampa, and I always say that, and I say it proudly too.
Definitely happy to rep the city. Definitely mean a lot to me too. A lot of the same kind of things growing up around here and competing inside the city and the inner city is definitely a lot. Not, like you said, not to say suburban areas don't have good competition, but definitely the best competition comes from the inner city for sure. You talked about playing sports. Talk to me about how we met. We met playing basketball. Obviously, you play football right now at Toledo, but talk to me about getting into sports coming up, what that was like for you.
So I started out playing basketball and football, strictly basketball and football. For a while, I was playing football and just like rec league basketball and not taking it too serious. And then that's how I ended up meeting you. I'll say we were in like 5th grade. You were in like 4th. No, you was in 5th grade too, but you were younger than us. So I'll say 5th grade, we met on a New Tampa flight. It was me, you, who else? Daniel. We had some dudes for real. And just meeting you and your dad and coaching me, and my dad coaching you, I feel like that's really much where our relationship came from. And we had some good times going to Orlando, playing out there and stuff, and playing at Disney World. Those memories you can't really replace for real. As a 11-year-old kid, you just like, damn, we in this big ass gym. Like, Well, sometimes it was a little starstruck when I was little, but now growing up and looking back on it, it was like we just hooping for real, but it was a good stage to do stuff on.
If you're tuned into this show through YouTube, make sure you leave a like, comment, subscribe, and share this video with anybody you think should tune in. If you're listening to the show through a podcast service or a streaming website, please subscribe to the show, leave a 5-star rating, and leave a review. Leave your thoughts down below on what you think about the show. Definitely. I feel like I tell people all the time when they ask me about playing basketball in college and this, and this, I tell them the best times I ever had was for sure younger years playing AAU ball, going all over the state of Florida, all over the country as it got older and got better. But definitely those days, we talking about 4th grade, 5th grade, those were the best times for me. Also, just being new to traveling, going to hotels, playing in big gyms like you talked about. Like all of that stuff that became normal over time was just amazing at that time. So I definitely feel that for sure. We talked about playing basketball together in our younger days. The first time I seen you play football was with the New Tampa Wildcats. Talk to me about your love for football as well and where that came from, how it grew over the years.
So growing up, I played football from up until like I'll say I was like 5 till I was like my 7th grade year of middle school. So I'll say I was like 12 or 11, somewhere in there. And then I stopped playing football for a little bit. I love football always, but like I just wasn't in the right situation at the time. I felt like I also grew a lot from like 5th to 7th grade. I went from like 5'8" to like 6'1". So like my knees wasn't feeling the best. So I was like, you know what, let me take a break with this. Let me just focus on basketball here, get my athleticism right, get my coordination, everything like that. Like it was always hard watching football because I had friends like Jordan Gilliard, John Dixon, those guys, Jimmy Banjoko playing football, and I'm watching them. I'm like, damn, like I still want to play, but knowing good and well like my body not right and ready for that right now at the time. So it was smooth. Then after that, I say I started back football up. John and Jordan, they got me to come back out and play for Wharton. I'll say my 10th grade spring, so going into my 11th grade year. Yeah, the end of 10th grade. So came out 10th grade spring, played tight end, actually weighed like 240, 250. Caught a couple of passes in the spring game. Got my first offer that spring from FAMU. Coming into the next season, I had a coach talk to me. Coach Chad Myers talked to me. He was like, "Look, I'm gonna be honest with you. You an average tight end. If you really want to make money, let's just be realistic. You could be a real good offensive lineman." I was like, at the time, I was like, "Nah, man, I don't want to play offensive line. That's whack. I feel like you don't get the ball, nobody see you for real." Then I was like, I really thought about it, sat down, watched some film on it. I was like, this is something I really could be successful at. Offensive linemen nowadays, they're moving, they're running, they're trapping, they're pulling. It's not just big, fat guys just looking real and athletic. It's pretty much some of the most athletic guys on the field. If you think about it in terms of size, weight, speed, strength, we're 300 pounds and we're always moving backwards for the most part. We can't see what's going on behind us. And we're going against some freaks in front of us, like dudes running 4.3s, 4.4s, 4.5s, but 6'4", 250. Like, so we putting up, I say it's the most unappreciated position in football, but my love for the game has grown a lot, especially with realizing how important my position is and what I bring to the game. Like, the play doesn't start without me. The offense doesn't move without the offensive line. Like, those things are something that you can't really, like, is irreplaceable for real. So I'm just grateful to have the opportunities that I do have and have the coaches that I've had in those positions, like Coach Chad Myers, my position coach now, Coach Hallett, my head coach, Coach Handel, really trusting me because I ended up coming back from an injury this year. Well, not this year, but 2020 season, COVID year. First game out, first game starting. Worked my butt off all summer, all fall camp. Really put myself in a great position to play that year. and I ended up tearing my fibula. I have 11 screws in my ankle. It was almost like, dang, they gave us a year, but I ended up getting it taken away. But if it was a year to end up getting hurt, I would say that was the best year too. But yeah, that's pretty much.
You definitely said a lot of things that I definitely gonna keep track of. But one of the things I want to ask you is, was it after you talked to your coach and switched positions from tight end to offensive line? Was that when you realized that you had to start taking the game more serious and put more time in, or when was that point? Because we skipped a little bit from high school to get into Toledo, but I don't want people to hear this and think, oh, it's just that easy. You just went out, did this, did that. Just talk to me about the work that went into it and when you started to take the game a little bit more serious to get to that next level.
I would definitely say I took the game more serious that 11th grade year. Well, my first game was against Zach Carter. I held my own. Dudes were like, damn, like, okay, maybe this dude could be all right. He's light, but he could hold his own against the best of the best. He was one of the best in the city at the time, and he's in the league now. So definitely respect his game and things like that. Not saying anything about him like he was bad or anything, but I definitely held my own as my first game back playing football. So things that I noticed in that game and I took away and I was like, I could be good at this, but I have to change these things was my strength. I was like, okay, I'm light right now. Like I got to get in the weight room. I got to eat right. Like I got to get my weight up. I went from like 240 to 280 in like, I say like 4 or 5 months. Like by that next year, by that next fall, I was at a comfortable weight. Like I wasn't too heavy. We'll talk about when I got at an uncomfortable weight. I wasn't too heavy though. From 240 to 280, I put in like a lot of time to get to that point. Working out at different gyms, just going to my community gym whenever I can. Working out at the house, and then like to keep my body in shape, I was still playing basketball, like summer league and things like that, getting my conditioning and running up and down the court. But it really clicked for me, like, okay, if I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do it right. Like I'm not just gonna half-ass this. Like if I have the opportunity to play at the next level, in the Division I level, at the highest level, I was like, okay, like let me really invest in this. And then I had the opportunity to play and travel with Team Tampa for like 7-on-7 and things like that. And me traveling with other high Division I guys it made me realize like, okay, the level that I'm at is okay, but if I want to succeed in football, like I got to raise it. I traveled with some of the other guys I was traveling with was Evan Neal, Chaz Neal, Quayshawn Fuller, Jordan Minor, Jay Sean Jones at Maryland. All these guys were high Division I talents, and I'm like, okay, I got to pick my game up. Like, I don't want to be at the back of the pack. Like, I want to be able to hold my own. So realizing what they say about your circle at the time, like your closest five is how you're going to be. So I was like, I'm hanging around these dudes. I got to bring my game up. I'm not going to be in the back of the pack, slacking off, none of that. And I think that really helped me elevate being around those guys. I had the opportunity to sign to bigger schools. I could have went to Florida. Their coaching staff ended up getting fired. So things of that nature. Out of high school, I was like, okay, I'm just going to go with the best option for me, which ended up being Toledo. But as far as the whole work ethic thing goes, I would say really just realizing the opportunities that I had like in front of me and making the best of them. Just realizing if I lose a day, somebody else is working. Like, I might not be working out that day, but somebody else is, and I'm not putting in the work that's needed to put me in a position to play football in the NFL. And that started in high school when I was like, okay, college, I realized that I'm going to college. Like, I'm going to play Division I football, but I want to play in the NFL. That's my end goal. Like, I want to take football as far as I can with it, if that's the CFL, NFL, but the ultimate goal is the NFL for me. And I believe I have all the tools and athleticism and strength and things of that nature to put myself in that position. So my next thing was my technique. I feel like I was really just reckless playing in high school. Like, I was just going and trying to kill people, which is nothing wrong with that at the time. But knowing at the next level, like, I'm going to have to keep my composure. Like, I can't just go running at people full speed. Little dudes just going to move out the way. Like, they're not dumb. They're not just going to sit there and let me smack them. So things like when I was pulling and like having my technique in pass pro, I was going against guys that were good, but like day in and day out in Division I level, you playing against the best of the best. So I played against Notre Dame this past season. I played against dudes that were NFL draft picks. I played against Central Michigan this year, Defensive Player of the Year that same year, 2020. This upcoming year, I'm playing against Ohio State in college. So knowing that my work ethic, if I don't put in the work now, it's not going to show in the fall, and I can embarrass myself that way. And you want to put the film does not lie. So what you put out on film is who you are. So I'm just making sure the things that I put out on film are good, positive things, and like scouts can look at. And I just conduct myself that way, like outside of football as well.
If you're tuned into this show through YouTube, make sure you leave a like, comment, subscribe, and share this video with anybody you think should tune in. If you're listening to the show through a podcast service or a streaming website, please subscribe to the show, leave a 5-star rating, and leave a review. Leave your thoughts down below on what you think about the show. For sure. Obviously, that's one of the first things. I'm sure that's something your parents have stressed your whole life. That's not something that's new. Just conducting yourself the right way, being a good person so that people can see that you are a good person. They'll always vouch for you. They'll always look out for you, and they'll treat you right most of the time for sure. Something I wanted to talk about was just like what you said about coming out of high school and choosing the right place for you. You talked about you had the options to go to higher schools, higher level schools like UF. Talk to me about your recruiting process and what your mentality was like and how you ended up choosing Toledo.
So coming out of high school, I would say I had pretty much all mid majors, and then I had like a lot of schools come in at the end. At that time, I tried to cut myself off from social media a lot. So most of the things, like when I would get offers, I would hear from my head coach, Coach David Mitchell, and he wasn't big on like clouting yourself or like pumping yourself. But now that I do realize that I could have promoted myself a lot better in high school and showing people that I got these bigger offers and things like that. But I wasn't big on like the whole celebrity thing and stuff like that. But now looking back on it with the NIL deals and everything, I definitely should have. But I would say, so it started with FAMU, and then I went to a big camp. I think I went out to Skyway, went to a big camp, picked up like 4 or 5 offers. A lot of mid-major schools like Georgia State, Georgia Southern, Toledo, Ohio. So when I started to pick up my bigger schools was at the end of recruiting. But nobody tells you this. Like at the end of there's an early signing period. I was one of the first classes to go through an early signing period where schools are pushing you to sign right then and there. Nobody tells you you do not have to sign at that time. I was big on like, oh, okay, like they want me to sign in the early signing period. I'm going to sign right now. I signed. A lot of my offers came right before I signed because schools were finding out, okay, we didn't get this guy, we didn't get that guy. In my head, I didn't want to be the second option to anybody. So I went with the school that showed me the most respect throughout all of it. With the whole coaching thing is my head coach has been at my school for like over a decade now. Like it wasn't always a head coach, but he was a position coach, worked his way up. His family's has grown up there. He has wife, kids. They're all really invested into the city of Toledo. Me knowing that, I'm like, okay, my head coach isn't going anywhere. He just signed a new contract, things of that nature. My position coach just got to the school. So yeah, these other schools might have more to offer, like school-wise. Yeah, your name would look better on maybe a University of Florida degree, but how long is your coach going to be there? Like, you never know with those type of things. So really, a whole new coaching staff coming in. Do you want to take that risk? Because you didn't build a relationship with those guys. So I would say just pretty much find the best fit for you. Go where you're loved, not where you're wanted. Like, go where you're a necessity. Like, go where you're a priority, where people they love you for who you are, and like they know the baggage that comes with you. Like, don't catch anybody by surprise. I would say be very truthful in your recruiting process. Because at the end of the day, you say you're 6'5", really you 6'2", dudes gonna know. Like, when they come and see you, that just makes it worse. Like they're gonna be like, oh, okay, this dude just lied to me for no reason. And then the offer that you thought you had, you never hear from the school again. Come signing day, you're like, oh snap. Like I've had a lot of dudes that lied to schools. Like I know personally that have lied to schools, and then come signing day, they don't have the offers they say they have because of things that they easily could have been prevented and stopped lying to themselves, as well as because being able to play a college sport, regardless of talent or where you're at, Division One, Division Two, Division Three, NAIA, JUCO, dudes are going to find you. NFL scouts are going to find you. Like I know dudes in JUCO that have Division One talent, and I'm just being real with you. And that's just so. I think as far as like the recruiting process goes, I believe just go where you're loved and where you're appreciated.
I think again, all that definitely key information. The thing I liked was you talking about your coach and seeing that he's been a part of Toledo University tree. He's been there for a while. He has children, a wife, just people. He's going to be there in a sense. I think that's something that's major that a lot of people don't take the time to think about. Like if you take UF, for example, they've had coaching changes recently. You're still in school. So just say that was the case, you would be looking at a new coach or probably looking to transfer. Like I know people personally that left UF because they got a new coach, they didn't have the year they wanted, all that kind of stuff. So I think everything that you said was major, but that's something I think stuck out to me personally, just looking into that, looking into your coach, having a relationship with him, like you said, and hoping and having the best idea that he'll be there for you during your time there. Hopefully you don't need a new coach or anything like that. So I think that's major for sure.
One more thing I got to say about the whole coaching process is make sure you're relatable to your coach off the field. Like make sure this is somebody you're willing to talk to, hang out with, or just chop it up with. You could tell them about your day, things of that nature. It doesn't always have to be sports specific, but definitely make sure your coach know what he's talking about on the field or on the court. But I would say this is people you're going to spend every day of your life with throughout college. So if you don't get along with them off the field or off the court, things just not going to go well. It's just not going to go how you think it's going to go.
Most definitely. That's important. We touched on getting to Toledo, obviously, and you talked about previously about some of the injuries you faced in your college career. Talk to me about just getting to Toledo and what it's been like being there, what you've been able to do, some of the things you've been through up there.
So my time at Toledo has been good. I've gotten accolades off the field as well as on the field. So off the field, I've been able to I just graduated my bachelor's. That's the biggest thing I want to talk about. Graduated my bachelor's in communication. These next 2 years that I have eligibility-wise, I'll be getting my master's in business administration with a focus on leadership. So I recently received a Stan Musial Award in November. It's a world-renowned award. Some big names have received it. Wayne Gretzky was our honorary member there. I met him, talked to him, got to chop it up with him. Hank Aaron before he passed. Just a lot of big names. My story with that was I was able to help a young man out. I seen him driving past a couple of times, and I was able to hop out the car, get to know him a little bit better. He ended up having a lot of health problems that I didn't know about that you could not see from the blind eye just looking at him. He ended up having like multiple open heart surgeries and things of that nature, which ended up stunning his development school-wise and things of that. And then it was also during COVID, so he wasn't able to make friends and things like that. He wasn't able to go to school because he just moved into the city, but that's a different story. You'll be able to probably put the link up there or something so people can see it and watch it. I also was an All-State Good Works nominee for the country. It's like, I don't know how many nominees it is, but it's only like 30 people that get it. I didn't receive it, but I was a nominee for it. The University of Toledo has given me a lot, like with relationships on and off the field. So I know I've been able to meet some of the most successful people in the city of Toledo, like from the business standpoint, just people that do a lot of help in the inner city. I built the relationship with like our deans in the school. So I would say the University of Toledo has offered me things that I probably wouldn't have gotten at other schools, being that if the school was a lot bigger. So
that's something that a lot of people don't recognize either. Obviously, like I go to a Division II school, so my school off the rip more than likely is going to be smaller than pretty much all or most of the Division I schools. But being at a smaller school, whatever level you're at, like a smaller scale school, it's a lot of benefits. Like you get to have more one-on-one time with your teachers, you get smaller classes and things of that nature. And I think that's something that's important too, because a lot of people, they decide to go to certain schools and like say you go to University of Florida, you're a freshman. Your gen ed classes, you're gonna have a lot of people.
175 people.
Yeah, you're gonna feel uncomfortable. You're gonna maybe not intimidated, but maybe a little bit, not necessarily just scared. But it's definitely different walking into a class with 100+ people in a class with 20 people. Like, so I think that's definitely major. I also like, obviously, I heard and I saw about the Musial Award. I think that's crazy. I think that's awesome that you were able to be a part of that you did something like that out of the kindness of your heart. I went online, I read the articles, watched videos of you, your guy Winter, a whole bunch of things like that. And I think that was amazing. Also doing my research, just seeing like the company of people that received that award. Like you said, Hank Aaron, I saw Arnold Palmer, Bubba Wallace, like a bunch of Wayne Gretzky. You got to meet Wayne Gretzky. Like, I feel like that's amazing just being a part of something like that. So congrats on all of that you mentioned off the field. That's just as important as on the field, like we talked about at the beginning of the show. If you're tuned into this show through YouTube, make sure you leave a like, comment, subscribe, and share this video with anybody you think should tune in. If you're listening to the show through a podcast service or a streaming website, please subscribe to the show, leave a 5-star rating, and leave a review. Leave your thoughts down below on what you think about the show. Recently, you just joined a fraternity. You're a Q dog now. Talk to me about that.
Yeah, so I recently joined Spring of 22, Tail Dog, 6-man. So I was introduced to the fraternity life as a little kid. Also, one of the closest men in my life, I would say, Chip Gilliard, Jordan Gilliard's dad. He's an Omega man. So like seeing the way he interacted with other Qs and things of that nature, like you'd be like, you don't even know this guy, but he's talking to him like he's known him for years. And that's just a bond and relationship that you can't really replace or get really anywhere else. Like, yeah, I have brothers on my team and I have a little sister, but those things and in the business field, those connections that I made throughout joining my fraternity is something irreplaceable. The process of going through pledging, or as white people call it, rushing, like throughout football and during the season isn't easy. It's not even easy if you're a regular student. So you hear me talking about dropping all this weight. At the beginning of the winter, I was heavy. I was like 325. During my pledging, I got down to like 285, but it wasn't necessarily like I was dying or anything. It's just I started treating my body differently and things of that nature. I'm grateful to have the opportunities that I do have, learning the information that I do have, and having the friends that were brought to me throughout this process. I would say, if you were an athlete to do this, I would say do it in your off season, just so you can really have time to focus on your off season training and as well as pledging, because I wouldn't suggest to do this to anyone during the season. Not saying like you can't do it, but it's just not suggested for me personally. Wouldn't change a thing in the world about it though. Definitely. That's something I wanted to ask you about. My dad, I've been introduced to it from as a young child too. A lot of my uncles, my dad, all of them are a part of different fraternities. I always just heard them talking about it so much, and they was always asking me, "Oh, you gonna pledge to this? You gonna pledge to that?" When I was coming up, I just told them I wasn't gonna do it, and then now I'm to the point where I'm almost done with school, so I'm kind of like I'm really just straight on it. But I definitely like the whole community aspect, the networking aspect. Obviously, just everything about it is pretty cool. I just can't bring myself to do it. And also, I'm not at a school like where we have, we got
Yeah, so I'm kind of cool on it, but I definitely support and I like just seeing people pledge. One of my best friends is named Nico Duffy. He just pledged the other day. So I think, or not the other day, really around the same time as you. He's an alpha, I'm pretty sure. Hopefully I'm not messing that up. I know y'all take that serious. But yeah, I think that's pretty lit. That's something I wanted to ask you about. Obviously, you can't tell me everything that happened in the process of doing it, but I just wanted to ask you like how it was doing it as an athlete and doing it while you're kind of somewhat in season working out and stuff. But you kind of answered that, so yeah, that's something I wanted to know about definitely. Last part of the show, we like to call it crunch time here. Crunch time in our sports, basketball, football, fourth quarter, you got to lock in. You got to make sure you're doing your assignment, doing what you need to do, coming through for your team. So there's just a couple last minute questions just to wrap the show up. What's been the biggest obstacle that you've had to face getting to this point so far?
I would say my ankle injury and overcoming the mental aspect of it as much as the physical. Because nobody tells you. Everybody's like, okay, all you gotta do is rehab and you get back. But the mental part plays a big toll on you too, because you go from being at the top of your game to your lowest point in a matter of a day or literally hours. So I'll say that.
Definitely. Some I heard somewhere on the show. I watch a lot of interviews and podcasts and stuff, and it was talking about people like us as people, our desires and stuff like that. And it was like, if you ask a healthy person what they desire thousands and a lot of things, just a lot of things. But you ask somebody that's sick, somebody that's injured, what they desire, they just want to be healthy. They just want to be whole again. And I definitely feel what you said, even from more minor stuff like just a sprained ankle or a stub toe, you just want to feel back to normal and feel good. So I definitely feel that for sure. Rehab is definitely tougher than people make it out to seem to be. What's something that a random person wouldn't know about you, but your close friends, your family, they know about you?
Random person wouldn't know about me. I guess you would say I'm just a big goofball. I like to have fun. I'm a big people person. I'll go out my way for anybody, just things like that. But if you look at me on the outside, I usually just like, but it's not intentional. I'm just looking off into the distance. People think I'm an asshole or anything.
Trust me, I got the same, you know me, I got the same problem. People always, what's wrong with it? Like, bro, I don't want to hear that.
Like, I'm perfectly fine. I promise you, I'm not wrong with me.
Definitely. If you could go back in time to maybe your 10-year-old self, what are some things you would tell yourself? What's some advice you would give yourself?
Some advice I would give myself. Cherish the time as a little kid. Don't be in such a rush to grow up. Like, you got more of your life as an adult than you do as a little kid. Don't be in such a rush to grow up because it's not as good as it seems. I mean, yeah, there's benefits. You don't got to go to sleep at 8 o'clock. You ain't got to take naps when you don't want to, but just enjoy your time as a kid. Cherish it.
Definitely. What's one or two quotes that you keep with you, that you take with you, that you live by, that help you get through your days, that you keep on your mind?
So I have one of them tatted on me, actually. This means a lot to me because, like I said, when I was going through those things, I don't know if you can see it, but all is well in red ink. It's more of like, yeah, things might look bad right now, but you can't control it. So all is well. Like, do your part and things will take care of itself. And then my other one would be, I have it tatted on me, is Ephesians 6:10. I will be strong in the Lord and in his power. So with the God, there's nothing I can't do. Like, there's no obstacle, no mountain I can't climb. There's nothing I can't do without him.
Definitely. I think both of them are major for sure. I like both of them. What's your why? What keeps you motivated to just keep striving for greatness, doing big things?
My why is knowing that my parents had me at the age of 17 and that if they were able to raise me with limited resources and make me out of nothing, like, why can't I go and pay them back with billions of dollars, or just having financial stability, or just, I wouldn't say it's so much as materialistic things, but knowing they don't have to want for anything. Like, knowing that I could provide for them and they can relax and I can retire them. My little sister growing up, I can be there for her, seeing her grow up more and things of that nature.
Most definitely. If you could meet and spend the day with 3 people, dead or alive, who would they be and why?
One would be Malcolm X. Just having him come back and seeing like how life is, he'll probably freak out for real. But I just want to hear how he feels about things. Another would be probably Mother Teresa is another one. I value her. I know it's kind of weird. Just chill on me. Yo, hey, she cool peoples from what I heard. You know what I'm saying? She real caring. I just want to see what she's talking about for real. The next one, I'll probably just say Brian. No, I lied. Trent Williams, for sure. Trent Williams. Offensive lineman in the league.
So Trent Williams, Mother Teresa, and Malcolm X. That's your 3.
Yeah, that's my 3. I'm riding with them. We going to Applebee's, Carrabba's, anywhere. We out there.
All right. I can't lie. Mother Teresa, that's the first on the show. I don't know what to think about that one. Trent Williams, that's the first 2. Malcolm X, he's pretty popular, but I think that's a solid 3. Best O-lineman in the game. Malcolm X, Mother Teresa. I think that's pretty solid. That's pretty solid. Last question I ask on the show. Who is somebody that I should have on here next? Whoever you say, you got to plug me in. You got to help me get them. Who you think I should have on the show next?
Have on the show next. You pretty much got everybody in Tampa for real. Well, you talked to Jordan Minor yet?
No, need to get Jordan on here.
Yeah, we'll get Jordan on here because he got a different aspect that nobody really tells you about. Like, yeah, definitely Jordan. I'll let Jordan tell you. All right. Yeah, Jordan Minor. Because he an athlete still, but he went from being one of the best athletes in the city to not being able to play. So
Country.
I definitely, yeah. No, for real.
Oh, Jordan Minor, that's fam. Jordan, if you see this, need you on the show. I'm probably going to hit you up right after I finish this. Come on the show. Tell everybody what you got going on. I know people haven't heard from you, seen you play in a while, so I think that would definitely be a different kind of conversation for sure. Definitely some good stuff coming from Jordan. Lavel Dumont, again, I said it before, I say it every episode. Thank you for coming on here, taking the time today to be a part of this. It means a lot to me, giving me the chance to interview you. I appreciate it, bro.
I appreciate you for having me, man. Thank you.
Is there any last words, anything, any motivation, anything you want to say to anybody that's tapped in right now?
I say this for anything, for sports, life, anything. If you thinking about doing something, if you're gonna do it 100%. Like, who cares what anybody else thinks? Be outrageous with it. Like, make sure your statement is heard. Make sure whatever you do, you're doing it to the best of your abilities.
Definitely, that's major advice. Lavel Dumont. Any social media, anything you want to plug in?
Big Veil 74. Follow me on TikTok, IG, all that. I'm trying to start building for real. I ain't really been on the social media scene too much, but I'm about to start really putting my name out there, trying to get some NIL deals, make this money. There's a lot of money out here, so let's make it for real.
Definitely. All that's going to be down below in the description. Lavel Dumont, follow him on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter. All that's going to be down below. Make sure y'all tune in. Toledo football, Tampa, Florida. Lavel Dumont, I appreciate you, bro. See y'all on the next episode.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. If you're tuned into this show through YouTube, make sure you leave a like, comment, subscribe, and share this video with anybody you think should tune in. If you're listening to the show through a podcast service or a streaming website, please subscribe to the show, leave a 5-star rating, and leave a review. Leave your thoughts down below on what you think about the show.